So this is the Boox Poke for Lite 6-inch e-ink tablet, and this is all the specs of it. It has an 6-inch HD card screen, non-flat, a 758 1024 by 758 at 212 DPI, front light with CTM, capacitive touch, quad core, 216, so 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage, Android 11, Wi-Fi 2.4 and 5G, Bluetooth 5, USB-C with OTG supported, and a 1500 mAh battery. I'm excited about this because, I mean, I've only used Amazon, and all you see on the internet is Amazon the best e-reader, Amazon this, Amazon that did nothing. And you're just like, I know there's more out there. What makes Amazon the best over everything else? Oh, that was loud. And here we go. Now, you slide it up like this. This is the e-reader. It is black and white. And then it comes with a USB-C to A cable. And nothing else except the manual and data purchase and stuff in the box. So I'm going to go through later. I'll put this back in the box too because I don't want to deal with it. This is a nice small device that's good for reading books. Now, you only see e-readers as Amazon, as I said before, but I know Amazon aren't the only one, and what other ones are people talking about? Now, there is no screen protector on here. Power button up top with a light. USB-C and a microphone, I believe it is, or a light. And it said there should have been a... Let's hold the power button. I'll read the manual, but it said there should have been an SD card slot. I'm not sure if there is. So here it is. It's powering on. Now it is Android, but you're not going to be able to do too much with it except read books. So it will be fun. So we're going to power it on. That's actually quite cool animation. And as you can see, it doesn't really reflect too badly when I'm looking at it from here. On the camera, it looks a bit worse. But you can actually see stuff. So it has syncing. Okay, here we go. English, United States. I agree with policy, privacy. I'll do traditional mode for now. And you have everything. So you have your library, store, storage, apps, and settings. And you have 16 gigs of storage and 2 gigs of RAM here. And you can basically just press this to do other things. You can swipe down to get to your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, e-ink center. Dark color enhancer, light color modes. And you have your bottom has the menu basically. So I'm going to click Wi-Fi. And I'll hold it because it's running Android 11, so I can hold it, and I'll enter my password. There's Bluetooth on here. This is a light, so I can turn it up and I can turn it back down, which is nice. And then I can turn the dark mode on and off. So if I do this, it doesn't really do much right now. It's do not disturb. I click edit. You can hold and drag. You can do screen, Boox drop navigation, and location, which I keep off. And according to this, it has limited. So we'll go into settings. You can see all this stuff. Network settings.
Okay, so why did I buy an e-reader? Impulse, I would have to say. But I would always try to read a book on my tablet, and I would always get distracted really fast. So I would open up my tablet, and it would happen to be just me using it for some form of reason to then start playing the game. And then all of a sudden I was at a store and I saw the e-reader sitting on a shelf, so I asked them how much it was and I bought it. After using 2 different Kindles, I knew I needed one without limitations and it had a backlight to it. This is the e-reader that fixed it for me. The Onyx Boox Poke for Lite. It has Android 11 on it. It runs almost all the apps that I throw at it. The stock reader app handled every format. It came from MOBI, AZW, ATW3, EPUB, PDF, literally every format, including some comic book formats too, like CZW, I think it is. The stock e-reader app handles every format, including the Amazon formats, as I said, AZW and AZW3. So as long as you don't get DRM protected books, you can handle any book basically. You can buy books from Kindle and you can read them. It's only 6 inches.
That's what she said!
Although, don't let that be a deterrent, because it can display a decent amount of text on the screen at a time while being pocketable. It is very smooth and fast with no lag. When loading up both to read, text looks crisp and sharp, and if you need, you can change how bold the text is. Customizability while reading a book on the stock app is very, very good. Font can be made really big if you need, or really small if you want more text on the screen at a time. Being able to bold the text is great, as sometimes the text may look sharper or thick enough, may not look sharp or thick enough. Bold helps. Pair that with the text enhancer, and it looks sharp and great. Is the text too far apart? Change the spacing between the text and the lines. There's even more than that. If you decide to buy this for reading manga or comic books, there is an option to actually enhance the boldness of images, which I used twice, and it helped a bit. You can also have it get rid of the stupid watermark. And then when reading and pressing for next page, it goes to the next page extremely fast with no lag, and you won't really notice a residual text from the book that you're reading. Now, there is a moment where if you are reading something from the genre of manga or comic books, this can have an issue where what will happen is it'll still display the residual text on behind the screen and you'll notice it. So what you can do is you can go in and you can change that residual text to actually not display the residual text, and you can have it change the refresh to be instant. Every time you flip the page, it will instantly change the screen and refresh it. Sitting down to read a normal book feels great and all, and once you've paired this with a lightweight e-ink device that also have your books at your fingertips, it feels even better. Don't get me wrong, I like reading physical books, but being able to read that in the dark, even just put the e-reader down and let it save my book position for me when it powers off is great. I used to have to wake up sometimes and slip through the book to figure out exactly where I was in the text. Why are e-readers even sold right now? Because I asked a bunch of people on Reddit, why the heck would they even pick up an e-reader? Now that you heard why I like my e-reader, why would you pick up an e-reader? So I have some things that are easier on the eyes, the Lite for on the dark, and you can carry them with you anywhere with multiple books. It's fast and can carry around multiple books. Not enough room for physical books where they live. Carry around bigger text, bookmarks, read more with e-reader, because with e-reader you can pick up any book you want and just read it instead of having to figure out where's this book, how can I get it. Someone else said they have dyslexia and font made for dyslexia and ability to sample books before reading, so you can download a demo of a book and it'll allow you to test it out to see if you like it. Someone has RSI, so e-readers are lighter than books, better than tablets, and you can get any book when borrowed. Spinal cord surgery messed up nerves in the hand, so holding e-reader is easier. Not enough room for all the books, borrow from library without late fees. Goes through books too fast. Carry whole library of backlight and font adjustment. Reading in the car, long battery, pick up anytime, easy on the eyes. No room for books in where they live. Language books, built-in dictionary, multiple books at once, and adjust text size. Now, reasons why you'd want an e-reader over a tablet is very, very good. But as you can hear, lots of people like because it has a light. They can carry around a crap ton of books at a time. And some people have it where they need to be able to carry something that's even lighter than my phone. And then some people like it where you could just have a shit ton of books where you don't have the space for books otherwise. Now, why wouldn't you want to use an e-reader over a tablet? So when I pick up my tablet, I look and I say, hey, look, I got a notification for this before I even turn on Do Not Disturb. Or I say, hey, look, I see this is a game on the home screen. Let's click on it. Let's watch some YouTube. So I don't actually go ahead and read a book. After about 2 seconds, I get distracted. Now, the e-ink screen does help a strain on the eyes because when I'm looking at the tablet, after a little bit, if it is darker, I get a strain in my eyes or my eyes start to water and I think I have to take a break, so I can't actually be reading this book. And then it looks just like a book. So I can pick this up, I can be reading it, and I feel like I'm reading a book. Except, of course, on this, and I know it's on it, but at least I feel like I'm more reading a book than just reading something on my tablet, so I even concentrate better. At low brightness and blue light filters, especially at night, can strain the eyes, even though you have blue light filter on. The screen itself just really, really strains at least my eyes. So when I'm looking at my phone at night, and I try to read on that too, my eyes feel strained. And it's basically like the e-reader has do not disturb on all the time because there are no notifications. And then you also get no distractions because of that. So I can pick this up and I'm not like, hey, look, a game, or hey, look, I get a notification. It's, hey, look, what book do I want to read now? And I choose a book, normally the one that I've been reading for a little bit, as I want to go through books one by one, but that's a different story. And the huge 30-day battery life, at least promised 30 days, is something that's crazy to me, because when I'm reading a book on my tablet, I pick up my tablet, I'm like, oh, come on, my tablet, why did you just die on me? And I don't want to charge it, so I put it down and I do something else. With the e-reader, I literally pick it up, look at it, and I see what it says, and I can actually start reading any book that I want, and I don't really have to worry about battery life, because it's basically always charged for me. And when it does die, it's normally at a time when I plug it in for about 30 minutes to an hour and it's charged. And picking up the tablet makes me want to play games and not read. And something 11 inches for a tablet is heavier than 11 inches for an e-reader, all because the tech that goes into a tablet and what people want as the feel and other stuff makes the tablet a lot heavier than what an e-reader would be at 11 inches. Now, reasons to even use an e-reader of any kind for whatever reason that you'd want to use an e-reader for. You have the long battery life, usually a couple of weeks of battery life. Lots of times they're about 30 days worth of about an hour to 2 a day, from my experiences. Has an anti-glare screen, so when you're outdoors or anywhere, like right now, I have a studio light on me, and when I shine it in the direction of the studio light, I don't notice any crap wrong with the screen, and I can notice what is on the screen. And right now it's a screensaver, but I basically notice it, including all the outlines, and I don't really have glare on the screen that comes to me. So I'm not squinting, and I'm not trying to move it around to try to make it look good for the lighting. So reading outdoors is great. It doesn't get too dark because it's an e-ink display. And then you have font sizes, where I can change it from like from 12 points all up to 72. So if you like to read small text, you can do that. Or if you have a hard time reading books because the text is too small, instead of having to go look around and say, hey, where's this large text format book? It's, how big do I need to make the text on my e-reader for me to even read it? Now, of course, larger text means less text on the screen at a time, but that's okay, because that's the whole point of an e-reader, is you don't need to have a page of specific size to be able to get all the text to fit inside of the book without it being too thick. Languages is a good reason. When I know tablets also support a bunch of languages, but if you're going to go for a physical book, sometimes you have to hunt around. You have to buy books overseas for a specific format of a book, like an Italian book. You may have to buy one from Italy, and maybe I can ship to you, and it may be shittily expensive for no reason. I just go online and I look up the Italian version of the book. I buy it. It's on my Kindle, on my e-reader, on my whatever I'm using. So it's perfect. The book portability. Like, I'm sitting here with, I think, 20 books, and it feels no heavier than it did the day that I got the thing. Whereas if I had 20 books, it would take up part of a bookshelf on me that I don't really have the place to put those books right now. So I can carry around the books that I want. So if I'm going on travel and I decide to bring my e-reader, I can load up any of the book that I want to read. Like, I can click on any of the books I want to read, and I don't have to worry about, why do I have to read this right now type of deal if I'm not in the mood for that type of book. And the weight is very, very light. Like, I'm not sure the exact weight, but it's to the point where it feels light, as lighter than some even notebooks, like the one that I have here with my stuff on it. So it's good. I pick it up, 2 fingers, very light. Like I don't actually feel I can even do one finger. I don't want to drop it, but I can do one finger out of it. That's how light it is. And it has less room taken up than physical books. So again, 20 books. That's part of the bookshelf. 20 books on a Kindle or any e-reader. That's only one book on a bookshelf, or even less because of the size of it. Now, if you collect books, go ahead. But if you only like to read them, you don't care to collect, an e-reader may be perfect for you for that. And then there's no wear and tear like a physical book. So if I'm sitting there swimming back and forth on the book, I'm not going to accidentally rip a page, or I'm not going to actually do this or that. It'll always be in crisp, perfect condition of whatever the tablet looks like. And as long as you have the space, it feels like an ability of having an infinite amount of books at your fingertips. So I'm sitting here with 20 books, and I could probably load another 150 to 300 books on here. Whereas if I had to buy that same amount of books, I would have no place to put them, and they'd be sitting in piles looking ugly. Looking at all these devices, they're more or less the same. You have a way to scroll through your library. You can click on a book that you want. So if I want to click here, I can click on the book, and if I don't remember where I was in this book, but now I can see exactly where I was, and I can continue to swipe through it, and I can go through it over and over, and now I'm on here, and I can go home, and I'm on there, and I can go through any book that I want on here. And then you can rent books on the fly. You can buy books too. And of course, some of them have a file storage, so you can move the books around and organize them the way you want. And some, because they run Android 11, like this Boox or Onyx Boox Poke for Lite. I have an app store. I don't even have to plug this in to transfer my books. I can just transfer them straight away using their thing called the Books Drop. I have calendar, calculator, clock. I have the dictionary, and a gallery for if you want a custom cover for your book. And some e-readers have speaker. This one has Bluetooth, so I can load music in, or for this one, it is audiobooks, and I can connect headphones, and I can read along with it. Now, e-readers have had browsers built into them for a while. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to go on Wikipedia or whatever site you want, and you can look up information about a book, or if you find like a historic date and you want to know more that the book doesn't cover, you can go ahead and actually look that up. Or you can download a book and it'll transfer it to the download section, and it'll load it into your library so you have it there. So you're not stuck with just whatever books you have here if you have books saved up on like Google Drive. And then you have screens, and you have like all this other stuff, and then you have app support. So I have the Kindle app on here, so I was testing that out. It works perfectly like the Kindle app would on a phone, and it allows me to read all the books that I rented on Kindle if I wanted to rent them, but I couldn't download them. And then, of course, it has your settings, which allows you to do things. So this is a very, very nice tablet. And if I turn on the cold and warm light, because I did link them, it will actually have very bright on here now, but you can see it's warm. So if I only wanted the cool light because I was reading a specific environment, I could do that. Or later at night, I turn on the warm light, and it allows me to read without it hurting my eyes. And then most e-readers come with some form of cloud storage, so I can actually load storage onto here through the cloud that I want, and it gives me the option to read the book through that. So it's great. It's fast. These are all normally fast and fluid. You can buy old ones, you can buy new ones, you can buy Kindles, Nooks, Sony, Kobo, Onyx. You can buy a ton of different devices. And they all have similar features where you can load basically any format. Kindle and Nook basically are a bit different just because of the way they work. But most of them work well. Now, the reason why, like, I've been seeing recommended, what's the cheapest e-reader that you recommend right now? I've been seeing a bunch of Reddit posts on that, and the reason why I would go with one of these over a Kindle, the regular Kindle, even if it has a backlight, is because this one's Android 11. Now, even if there's an upgraded version at some point, the reason why I go with one of these is Android, same size screen, same size memory. This has 16 gigs of memory. It's fast and fluid. It turns on really well. But the reason why is because it can support every single book. And if I needed to use a book, like an app to read a book and I can't download it, like maybe there was a textbook that you needed, but it could only be done on the specific textbook app, I can download it. And now I have it on my e-reader for me to use anytime. So it's perfect. Like I can literally run anything I want on here, read anything I want. And I'm perfectly good to do it. All in all, e-readers are great. They like to do a bunch of things, and they help for disabilities of some kind. If you need something that you can't hold a full book, but you still want to read, this really works well for that. It can load any app you want. You can also highlight stuff, make a little bit of notes by typing on it, or some of them have pens for scribbling. Or you can just have it where it'll track your bookmark for you without you having to do much effort to track it. But all in all, I would recommend this device just because it has Android, which is open. First, it has their own app store. Then it also has the Play Store. And if you need to, you can sideload APKs instead of having to enable a full Play Store. But it works, and I really love it for being able to load anything. So if I go and I open up this thing and I scroll through and I click on, let's say, redacted, you can see it loads quite fast. It loads to the spot that I was at, and it's there. So it's great. And I had the Kindle Touch, which is, I believe, the 2018 version that I had, or 2019. And then I had myself the Kindle with the D-pad, which is one right before the Touch versions came out. And I thought they were great. I used the Kindle with the D-pad throughout high school, and then the Kindle Touch itself, 2 weeks into it, I'm like, screw this. I was reading it in the dark, and it was hard. Like, I was reading it with the lamp on, stuff was still hard to see the screen. It was, to me, worse than reading on a regular book, and I thought, why the heck do I need this? So 2 weeks in, I put it down, and I shipped it over to a friend to enjoy it. So why I would buy this is because Android 11, and I can read any book on here that I want. I loaded up every single format I wanted, from EPUB to Amazon's formats, and I was able to do it versus my Kindle, which I had to convert the EPUB to MOBI to even read it. Now MOBI is out, so they can read EPUB at this current moment, but at the time I couldn't. That, and I can download any app that I want on here. And this will never actually, it may go old because Android 11 and the processor may slow it down a bit, but I can load every single format I want, load any app I need to, including textbooks, and it'll always be modern. So even if they come out with a whole new version of ebook to be able to read format-wise, I can download the app that'll read it. And I don't have to sit and say, do I need to buy a whole new e-reader? Or can I just convert the format over? No, I can just download the reader that reads it. Or maybe I'll get the update to whatever built-in readers on here. So all in all, I do think that this is worth buying, even if it's 130 versus 80. Even though it may feel more expensive, you are getting the better deal because of that. We're loading every single format possible, or practically every format, and also being able to download books from their built-in app, from the apps from the built-in app store, or you can enable Google Play through however they tell you to do it, which is a way to be able to then download any app, or you can go ahead and you can buy or sideload any APK that you want on here, which I did one, and it'll allow you to do anything you need, so you'll never feel out of date. If you did like this video, please rate, comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.